Hello, my name is Joshua Mudd, and the subject of this video is procedurally generated weapons. In this video, I am going to show you how random number generated procedural weapons are created, and will explain search-based procedural content generation. So, onto the random number generated weapons. Over here, I've got my C# flat red ball code open, and you can see that this part is the random numbers. So earlier on, I set some random number values here. So the flat red ball service here allows me to use a random number between these values. So here, this top one will return a value of 1, 2, or 3. So, now that the random numbers has been explained, I will show you the switches. So here are the switches. You have 3 different positions in this one. So we've got case 1, case 2, and case 3. And depending on the number input into the switch here, it will return one of these cases. So the random assault body here, which is the number which I showed you earlier, will return a number of 1, 2, or 3. If it returns 2, case 2, etc. And this can be as high as you want. So the switches basically return a different scenario depending on what number's input. So, what does each part change? So here we've got the assault body, which you can see over here in the video, is the larger part. So the assault body will return a different size assault body depending on which number it comes out with. Each different size has different variables. So, the assault damage changes depending on which body is picked. And the body basically sets the fire rate and damage for the gun and its base values. The damage I've calculated here is always going to be equal to the damage plus 20 times the assault level. This is on the standard one. Now, this does change slightly here, where it's 20 plus a random number between 10 and 20 times the assault level. So this is for a higher powered gun with a lower fire rate. And again here we have the opposite of that, which has a higher fire rate and lower damage. So each section does change what happens with the gun slightly. So a sight will affect accuracy, which is shown here. A stock affects the recoil of the gun. The barrel affects the accuracy and damage. So in this situation, the accuracy is higher the longer the barrel is, but the damage is lower the longer the barrel is. And it's just a way to balance the weapons, really. And again, in each part of these, there's always a random number generator there, and that's just to give a bit more variation so that each weapon is slightly different. Final part of this is rarity. Now, the rarity system in this uses the WGBPO, which is white, green, blue, purple, and orange. To get this started out, I've got a random number generated, which I will show you here, between 1 and 100. This then gets put into this if statement here. If it's below 45, it returns a value of 1, which is your white weapon. Now, if it returns a value between 45 to 70, it returns a green weapon. 70 to 85 returns a blue weapon. 85 to 95 returns a purple weapon, and the most rare is orange, where it will return a number between 95 to 100 to get that weapon. Then the value is put into the switch down here. It'll change the outline of the axis-aligned rectangle. What does the rarity do? Well, the rarity here, it just changes the colour to white, whereas in green, it will increase damage by 25%. In case 3, which is blue, it'll add 50% of the damage. In case 4, which is purple, it will add 100% of the damage, so effectively doubling the damage of the weapon. And in orange, it will add 200% of the damage. There is other factors that I've put into the orange one, which is just to give the weapon a bit more of a legendary status, which is what you find in many games. Each weapon has something special about the orange one. So here we've got the accuracy is doubled if the random assault number is higher or equal to 97, as well as 98 and upwards gets you a higher fire rate, which adds 50% to the fire rate, and a rarity of 99 and upwards to negative the damage. Now this means that the weapon will heal opponents or heal allies. Okay, this is just a simple 2D representation which is seen here. And as you can see, like, different weapons appearing at random, and I've set this up to just loop continuously, making new weapons. Now, the actual amount of weapons in this is worked out from the number of different cases we've got. So we've got 3 cases in the assault body, 4 in the sight, 4 in the stock, and so on. So once we get all these together here, and there's 7 switches in total, we find out that we have 24,000 weapons in just this simple one. I have cut some of this, so there is less weapons than originally, but that's just because I've only put in the aesthetic weapons and the rarity. Okay, so now I'm going to explain search-based procedural content generation. So for my example in this, I'm going to create a few items, or weapons, may you say. So we have red diamond weapons. So we've got a few different shapes here. We have orange circle weapons. So different circly shapes. More oval as well. So we've got a few different variations there. And we will have some pink stars that will work as weapons as well. So we'll just get a few different shapes out of these. So procedural content generation will look into my inventory. So we'll put over here and have a look at what I'm using. Say I prefer to use diamonds. So I've got a diamond weapon equipped here, and I use this quite a lot. Now this is my favourite weapon, it's my most used weapon, but I have a very effective, it's my most used weapon, it's my favourite weapon, but I have a very effective orange circle weapon as well, which I have here. And I interchange between these, and it's more effective than my diamond weapon. And the game can tell that I've had more kills with this one than this one, but I like to use this one more often. So what it will do, it will return procedurally generated drops in the form of more weapons that are similar to the diamonds and similar to the oranges. And what it's doing here is it's creating some weapons that are similar to both, really. So we've got an orange diamond now, and let's just get a red circle as well to cover this one. Yeah, there we go. So it's returned me a red circle and an orange diamond. Now these are variations upon the original ideas, and it may even return more of these. So I'm more likely to get more diamonds from drop, but some of them will be more like the circles. And I'll get some circles that are a lot more like the diamonds as well. But it will also notice that sitting in my inventory is a pink star weapon. Now, I don't use the star weapon, it's just sitting there, it's been there for a while, so I might occasionally get a star weapon. But what it will notice over time, and over play, that I don't use the star weapon. So it will stop dropping star weapons in favour of more orange and more red weapons of diamond and circle. But it may throw in a few different colours for me as well. So I might start getting some pink circles and some pink diamonds. But if I don't like these, it will in turn get rid of these as well. Look at this. And the whole idea behind search-based procedural content generation is that it looks at what the player is doing and gives the player what he or she wants. Search-based procedural content generation returns what the player wants and what the player uses back to them. And the procedural part of this creates random different variations on them. So as you can see, we've got some evolved different variations of them. So, to summarise, I have shown how random procedurally generated weapons work in a simple 2D format, as well as a brief look at search-based procedural content generation. As you have seen from the examples, each small change can amount to a lot of variation in weapons, which shows just how an economy can be created with weapons. My name is Joshua Mudd, and thank you for your time.